Hey y'all, so listen, I am going to talk to y'all because I read this article about Gen Zers having difficulty finding jobs, job placement after they graduate college. And I saw someone comment, they were like, they could have asked the millennials, because child, we could have told y'all. We could have told y'all what this job market was going to be like. When you get that degree, you walk on that stage, you walk off the stage, you walk out of the auditorium, and then it's like, where my job at? Who hiring? Y'all don't want to hire me? I got the degree. I wrote 4 points or 4 steps that I feel like can help you in this journey in time. I didn't have a job when I graduated from college. Growing up, that's what we heard. We heard go to school, get your degree, then after that you secure your job and the rest is history. With millennials, it seems like that pen somebody dropped that pen somewhere. A lot of us found ourselves working jobs that we didn't go to school for. It took me 3 years until I got into my career field. That 3-year journey really did make me, shape me, break me, because I just knew that once I graduated college, I was going to walk out of the door in my dream job. So I started out as an undergrad. I did community college. I graduated with my associate's degree. Then I moved on to a 4-year university. I obtained a bachelor's degree. Within this time frame, I held jobs. I worked retail. I worked for Macy's. Then before Macy's, I also worked for a nonprofit organization where we just worked in underprivileged areas and worked the after school program there within the school district, which was super fun. Working at Macy's, super fun. I knew that all of these things that I was doing was just keeping this broke college student a little on the level of having some type of money in my pockets as I went to school. I knew I had confidence that when I graduated that I was going to walk out with a job, because I called myself, or at least I thought, I was doing all the things. I went to school for criminology and criminal justice because since forever, I knew that I wanted to work for my country. I wanted to work in the government, whether it was federal or local. I knew what I wanted to do. And specifically, the reason I chose criminology and criminal justice is because I wanted to be a criminal investigator. I wanted to work that behind the scenes backdrop of the criminal justice agency. I had dreams of going into Homeland Security, the CIA, working at the Pentagon. The sky was the limit. I just wanted to be in some capacity in my government, and I did all the research prior to turning 18. I knew what I needed to do for my bachelor's. I knew what I needed to do for my master's. I just knew what I needed to do. So I felt like I had already planned this out and it was just going to be a done deal. It was going to work. So imagine my surprise when I'm applying for jobs before graduation, not after graduation. I was applying before graduation. Imagine my surprise when those jobs, by the time May, I forgot the date, that date happened. I went home and looked and refresh my screen on the computer to see if an update had happened, because I'm like, okay, I'm getting my bachelor's degree, and still no update. Under review or processing were the words that I saw, but I never heard back from those jobs. So here I am with a degree, saying to myself, what's the problem? I have what y'all told me I needed to have. And the problem is much of what this MSN article is talking about, the lack of experience, as well as the fact that the job market has changed over the years. The demand for it has changed over the years. A lot of people have degrees now. It's not something that is not as commonplace anymore. So with that, you have to level up on the experience. You have to level up on the other things that the job needs, because if we're just looking for degrees, well, anybody can walk in with a degree. You have to have a little bit more on the table outside of the degree. And that's what I had to learn. That's what so many more are finding out still today. So my steps, these are the 4 things that I did to keep myself afloat in the midst of that 3-year period where I was wondering what I needed to do, what my next moves were. I already had my degree. I wasn't going to go back and get another degree. I knew my purpose was what I felt God was calling me to do. And I walked in it and I did it. Step number 1, you have to breathe. The panicking, the anxiety, the fear of it all, the uncertainty of it all is normal. You're going to feel it. But at the same time, you have to understand there's nothing you can do to change it. So you have to breathe. Worrying and pushing and stressing yourself out is doing more harm than good. You have to breathe and allow yourself to process mentally what's going on. If you need to talk to someone about it, I encourage you to talk to someone. If you're in counseling, some type of therapy, maybe talk to your parents or your guardian or someone that you can trust in this moment. But I want to encourage you further to talk to God, because above all else, He knows our future. And this is something that I really relied on when I was going through this period. I talked to God because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I think I did everything that they said to do, and here I am without a job. I have a degree, but for what merit? I didn't get it just to hang it up on the shelf and smile at it and say I have it. Like, I want to use my degree. So in that moment, I really prayed. I really invested in listening to God's voice. And in those times, He would send me people who didn't even know me sometimes, but they would just speak a word of life into me that really kept me upbeat, strengthened me, and helped me know that God was hearing me and that God was on my side. So you have to breathe. You have to take a moment to just stand back and assess the situation that you're in. And if you do have to look back, because retrospection isn't bad, if you have to look back, don't look back with fear. Don't look back with anger. Don't look back with any of those things. If you have to look back to learn and assess where you came from and say, okay, I could have did this better or that better, but don't spend too much time there, because you can't go back and change anything. We can only, like they say, there's no time like the present. So you can't, if your head is consistently turned behind you, trying to look back at what you didn't do, you can't look forward and see what you can do. So don't stay there. Just look back briefly and then keep your focus and stay on your mark, stay on your goals, and keep it there. Even if you have taken a long gap year, you've been gap yearing, you haven't been in school in a minute, you went, or maybe you didn't go after college or after high school, and now you're going back. Still, you can say, okay, I have regrets about this, I have regrets about that. All of us can say that, but you cannot stay there. You have to move. You cannot become stagnant, because when you become stagnant, you'll look up 5, 10, 15 years have passed by and you've not moved. So you have to remain focused. You have to remain on your target and remember why you got that degree, and don't allow anything or anyone to deter you from staying positive and remaining positive about where you're going. So that's step number 1. You have to breathe. Step number 2 is plan out your ABCs, or know your ABCs. You got to know your ABCs in this context, because you have to have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. Now, my parents really instilled this into me, knowing what I could do if plan A didn't work. But I can say that I had so much faith in plan A working that I didn't really take out time to carve out a plan B or a plan C, because I saw myself in this position and I knew it was going to work. I knew that when I graduated, I was going to have a job. So I didn't really plan out how life was going to pan out if that didn't come to pass. So I was met with a fork in the road. What do? You graduated. School is done for. What are you going to do now? Are you going to go left, or will you go right? It's a lot easier when you've planned it out, but it's not as easy when you don't have any plans. That's why I encourage you to know your ABCs. Spend time on A, make A great, make A cute, make A strong, but don't neglect B or C. Even go all the way down to Z, because these days we just don't know what's going to happen, what's going to take place. So we have to know what we're going to do. But as long as you have those 3 areas covered, I feel like you'll be great. So in my personal moment of time, when I was sitting at home without a job, I said, well, what is something that I can do? I had to rely on the previous jobs that I did have some experience in. And as I told you, one of them was working with children. And my sister told me about the school district that was hiring in our local area for a substitute teacher. And so I went into that vein, but I'll discuss that a little bit more in point 3. But that was my plan B, thankfully, because outside of God letting me know that information, I wouldn't have had a plan B, because I didn't properly plan a plan B or even a plan C. So maybe you're going to college and you're a freshman, you're going to start this fall. Have a plan B, have a plan C. It's okay to do plan A, but please have a plan B and a plan C, just in case things don't work out, just in case life happens and you have to take a little break. Have something that you can fall back on. Don't just be out here focused on this thing solely that you forget about the other areas of your life that could happen and interfere with this in some type of way. Have another form, some type of communication that you can do to get you into the door of making money and living a sustainable lifestyle if, like I said, plan A does not work. Step number 3 is start somewhere. I just mentioned a minute ago that I worked as a substitute teacher. I did that because I had to start somewhere. Even if you have a plan B or a plan C, and it's not something that you necessarily thought you would be doing, you still have to start there in order to get to where you want to be as far as A is concerned. With me, I had experience with children, but was that my plan A? No. But I did it because I love kids, and it was a different thing that I could do that didn't involve me sitting at home not making any money. I had bills, I had things to take care of. So this was something that worked for me, and thankfully I had an interest in it. Find something that you have an interest in. Start somewhere, but make sure it's something that you have an interest in it. And even if you don't have an interest in it, pray that God gives you the grace to get the interest, because you need to be working and doing something sustainable to take care of yourself. So start somewhere. You can start big, you can start small. I worked in the classroom. I worked with 3rd, 4th, 5th and sixth graders. They were my favorite groups, but occasionally I would take preschoolers and kindergartners, and I would do some second grade classes, but I stayed in elementary school. I did that for about 2 years, and it was fun. It was rewarding. It was great. And I remember even in that time, I would say to myself, this isn't even what you went to school for. You're literally working a job that you didn't even go to school to do. This is not why you went to school. You went to school to be in the government spectrum. You did not go to be a school teacher. As harrowing or as hard as that was to really come to terms with, I had to accept that this was my new reality, and it's just where I was for the moment. And for whatever reason, God did not open those doors for me when I was filling out for those job applications. But this particular job, he did open the door for. And that's another thing. It's like when you're praying and you're asking God to lead you and direct you, and he opens up a door that you weren't expecting or that you didn't necessarily see yourself in, you have to be okay with that and say, yes, Lord. Thank you for it, because his ways are so far above our ways. His thoughts are so far above our thoughts. We think we know. And then, like I said, the jobs that you're not applying for, not really looking to get back with you, they get back with you. And the ones that you won't, you don't hear anything from them. So you're like, why? Why would this job open and not that job? I know that's what I said to myself. I'm like, what is really going on here? But I took it. I did it. I loved it. Babies were so sweet. They would draw me pictures. I enjoyed investing time with them and learning from them, because children are so sweet. They are so amazing. And they also need a lot of care and a lot of love. And that's why I feel like teachers are they're so undervalued in so many ways, because the amount of things that I myself witnessed teachers doing when I was there it's no way you could ever say that they don't do enough for children. These kids are who they are today because of heartfelt teachers who go into the classroom every day doing their job, even when they're not the ones that are the most recognized, when they give their all to their classrooms. And that's what I tried my best to do. I enjoyed it to the fullest, and I had to get over feeling as though I was out of place working in that arena. That's why I encourage you to start somewhere. Don't become stagnant, and don't allow thoughts or feelings or projections to pull you out and make you feel like you're doing the wrong thing. I actually had someone tell me last year when I was telling them this, they were like, I don't know how you did that, because I would have felt so out of place. And I said, well, hey, you have to start somewhere. These bills are not going to pay themselves. And even if someone offers to give you something, or they offer to give you a ride, eventually they're going to look for you to start having a little something on your own. You can't always be so dependent on riding on someone else's tab. You have to get out there and make it happen. And if you see that something isn't working, I'm not telling you to give up on your dreams. I'm not telling you to give up on your goals. But if you see that something isn't working, when I saw that I was filling out those job applications and I was not getting any callbacks, I was not getting even into the interview process, bells went off in my head. And I said, okay, I got to do something else. You can't just keep sitting saying, I'm applying. Keep applying. When you get off work from your other job, you got to keep it moving. You got to work. You have to get out here and work. No one is going to pay for everything for you. You can't put yourself in a position where you make yourself someone else's responsibility. You have your life that you have to be responsible for. And it's great when people step out and do kind things for you. But at some point, you have to take responsibility for yourself. My parents in this time were amazing. They were super supportive. Whatever I needed, they had my back. Even with my daddy, I didn't have a car. When I graduated college, I didn't have a car when I moved into this substitute situation in the school district, but my daddy allowed me to drive his truck because he believed in me, and he knew that I had a goal. He knew that I wasn't playing games. He knew that I was serious. He knew that I was trying to get out here and make something happen. I wasn't interested in just sitting at home saying, oh, well, woe is me. Nothing is working out for me. I had a game plan. I had initiative. I had drive. I had that. I had to have that. When my parents saw me trying to work and make it happen, they met me in the middle, and they did what they needed to do to make sure that it was going to happen. No, your parents are not being hard on you. Your parents, your guardians, or whomever, they're not being hard on you when they make you get out and do things. They're not being harsh. They don't hate you. They're being parents, and they're pushing you, because if they don't push you, this world will push you, and they will push you further than you would imagine. And I'm not talking about in a good way. I'm talking about in a bad way. So your parents, all they're trying to do is make sure that you're on the right path, the straight and narrow. If you don't have parents, your guardians, whomever, They are just trying to make sure you get out here and you get it, because somebody else ain't going to be as nice. Somebody else ain't going to take as much time with you. Be grateful if you have this input. Take it and use it. Don't think that they're trying to be funny or trying to be mean. They're just trying to make sure that you make it and that you have something sustainable to build a life on. You have to get out there and do it. You have to be able to see that if this isn't working, I have to find something else to do. Point number 4 is just don't be a one-trick pony. I see so many people, and it's easy to do because I was like that too. You know, I was so focused in school about doing this one thing, working for the government, that I did not really hone in again on other ways that I can make money, because there's more than one way to make money. There's more than one way to do a lot of things, and money is one of them. So don't put all your ducks in a basket for plan A. There's other ways in plan B and in plan C to make money. Now, will you make as much money as you plan on making in plan A? Probably not, but your money is going to be your money, and you can build and stack on that money. You can do passive income, then you can have your main income. There are so many people out here who work their main jobs, but they're also professionals in other areas. They're good with their hands. I have a sister who, she's a professional in her lane of where she's at, over 9 years of experience where she's at. I have another sister over 10 years of experience, but they have side hobbies. They have other things that they do that generate income for them. They're multifaceted. When you talk about boss ladies, they are boss ladies. They have multiple ways of doing this thing. They have multiple ways of making that paper come out green, okay? And it's legal, it's fun, it's something that they enjoy doing, and they're not the only ones that can do it. You can do it too. Lock in and see and use your other skills, use your other gifts, use your other talents to make money and income for yourself. Don't be so stuck on one that you forget about 2 and 3. There's so many ways that you can do it. Going into business or joining. It's just so many things that you can do. You're so carefully crafted. God created us to be so unique and so amazing in so many ways that you can't possibly convince me that this is the only thing you're going to be good at. No, you have other things that you can do as well. Even in that waiting period, if doing something for you means going out, starting a business or starting up a YouTube channel or whatever that thing is that you can find to do to generate income for yourself, go and do it. Nothing is stopping you but you. Stop saying I'm going to do it and turn it into I am doing it. Begin to take those proactive steps. And I promise you, you'll see something happen. If you follow these 4 steps, I feel like you'll be able to get where you need to go, and God will begin to show you the roadmap. He'll begin to uncover and show you things about yourself that you didn't even know, because there's so much to you that you have yet to even discover. And as I said before in the beginning of the video, I understand it took me 3 years to get job placement, where I'm finally now able to work in my local government. And if I had to do it over, I would take those 3 years again, because I learned so much. I grew so much. I overcame so much. And that's not everybody's testimony. Some people, when they graduated college, or even before they graduated, they had jobs. That's not the reality for so many others, specifically for millennials as well as Gen Zers. A lot of us had to find other things to do outside of the realm of where we wanted to be, because it didn't work out for us. Another thing that they mentioned before I end the video is sometimes you have to go and get degrees according to what the job force is looking for right now. Look and see what's popular, what's in demand, and get your degree according to that. If you are one of those people that can just adapt and absorb any type of information, I say do that. If you're a freshman and you're going into college and you're not really declared right now, you're just kind of taking your basics to figure out where you want to go. Get your feet wet, dibble and dabble in some things until you find what interests you. Look at the job boards and say, okay, this is in demand right now. Engineering is in demand, science, whatever it is. I'm not saying that this what it is, but if you look and you see these things or other things, go after that degree and do it and pursue it with passion, and don't make it about the money. And I even say that if you are pursuing your passion, don't make it about the money, make it about the legacy, make it about the people, make it about serving others. But at the same time, you do want to make sure that you're being compensated for your work, because people try to say money doesn't matter, but it does matter, especially when you are living in today's times. It matters being able to take care of yourself and live a sustainable lifestyle. Whether you're single, whether you have a family, wherever you are on that spectrum, you need to be compensated for your services and for your work. I hope that this video was educational, inspirational. I hope that it did a lot of things for you. If so, leave some comments and let me know how you feel. Add to the conversation. Tell me your experience. How was it for you? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all on my next video. In the meantime, take care. I love y'all so much. Bye.